Imagine arriving at the Address Castle in the Scottish Highlands. The magnitude and the beauty takes your breath away. You are surrounded by a group of people, some you know, some are strangers, and you step into this experience thinking, I'm going to be my most authentic self, and I'm going to win. As the days pass, unexpectedly, you form friendships. You confide in others, and you trust your instincts. You're like, I got this. Then, at a table, everything flips. Friends turn on you. Those alliances you made, they're out the window. They're trash, garbage. Everything you thought you knew begins to crumble. You sit in shock as you try to defend yourself to the best of your abilities. As you are voted out, a strange mix of emotion come over you. The feeling of disbelief, resignation, and betrayal wash over you. As you leave the castle, you can't help but to think, it is just a game, right? This is Traitors. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to take a stab at discussing the game Traitors. Now, I've been watching this show because of my sister. Thank you, sister. And every season, I am left feeling agitated, like on the precipice of having like a deep visceral reaction, because I be irritated watching these people, and the fact that it is these emotions that come up where they're dismissed with the context of it's just a game. But I'm here to point to some research, point to some thoughts that maybe this is more than a game. Maybe this is a psychosocial experiment that we're looking at. And if not just an experiment, then maybe it's a psychosocial reality show we're looking at. And I'm coming from the context of this game allows aspects of self that may not always have an outlet to exist. I'm talking about the shadow self. I'm talking about the shadow self, okay? The side of ourselves that we hide away from society because it's deemed as unattractive, gross, whatever adjective you want to put on it. This side of ourselves gets to run free and play. The part of ourselves where to be conniving, backstabbing, all the other adjectives get to run and play. So join me as I take a psychosocial look at the game Traitors. Now, just an aside, I am not a professional. I am a doctoral student studying psychology, but not this form of psychology. I'm studying trauma. So, but I did do some loose research for this commentary. So let's get in it. Get your snack, your coffee is drinking. Come on, girl, we got stuff to talk about. We got things to talk about. I think it's really important to set the scene. This is not only just a look at the psychosocial context of Traitors, but also I'm going to be including my commentary. And it's not just for the latest season, but loosely for all the seasons, with a hyper focus on the latest seasons, because that's the one I remember and I don't have time to go back and rewatch things to make this video. I'm working with a finite amount of energy, okay? Firstly, I want to start off with my commentary. I really enjoyed Traitors. I really enjoyed Alan. Whoever did Alan's fashion this last season should be fired immediately. They took this man, this person, from being like this avant-garde, this fashionista, this statement piece. If you watched Alan's fashion, I think it was season 3 when Bob the drag queen was in there. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss, okay? This last season, I was like, what the hell is this? And why is this? Why are you dressed like this? It was giving circus clown. It was giving more theatrical than fashion. And I just really, it was sitting on my chest and I needed to say it. It needed to be said. Okay. And then also, when I first started watching Traitors, I started off with season 2 with Phaedra. Yeah, I started off in season 2 because I love Miss Parks, okay? Miss Parks. I love Miss Parks. I started off in season 2 watching Phaedra with Miss Parks because she gives what needed to be gave. But watching her, I was like, now they ain't slick. They ain't slick for allowing Phaedra to be the first to be the traitor. They ain't slick. And okay, to human is to err. Okay? What Phaedra did is in the past, but we cannot ignore the fact that she is a traitor, and she has her legal background, but also she's exhibited in the past the ability to lie and betray and backstab and smile in your face and act like she has no idea what's going on. Case in point, Real Housewives, her and her fallout with Candy Burris. But we're not going to really fixate, but it's important to mention because Phaedra's gameplay is eerily similar to the situation with Candy. And let's rewind. I think for this context, for this video, I want to just hyperfixate on the Traitors. I don't know how much of their gameplay in relation to their shadow selves coming out has much to do with them being faithfuls as it is with being a traitor. So with Traitors, I see this direct correlation with the shadow self coming out, whereas with the faithfuls, I see more of the social context. So with the Traitors, more of the psychological, and with the faithfuls, more of the social context of who gets to be believed, who gets jumped on, what groups of people support others. And again, I understand that this is a game, but I also see patterns, and I'm going to try my best to organize my thoughts to address. So section 1, let's talk about moral disengagement. What does it mean to step into a place or to role play, and who you are pretending to be or embodying to be does not directly align with your own morals? Would you be able to forego your morality for the sake of this role you're embodying, for the sake of a cash prize, for the sake of experience, whatever the reason? Would you be able to do so? And throughout the game, we've seen players who are able to embody this deceitful character trope, and some people have a really hard time. Now, let's talk about Rob. Because Rob ain't sugar honey iced tea. Rob ain't sugar honey iced tea. And he sat there and bat his eyes and just said, it was a game, it was a game. No, baby. What you were able to do is directly relating to your abilities, your shadow self, aspects of yourself that you are suppressing, and you're hiding behind this southern charm, this hot guy, which I don't see. I mean, he's not ugly by any stretch of the imagination. I just don't see like, oh, so well. I don't see it. But I digress. That's not the point. The point is, how are you able to smile in the face? Rob had betrayed Lisa, Candace, Colton, Moira, Eric. Rob was just stab. That's not for you. It's not for you. Stab. And it was treacherous. Okay, it was treacherous behavior. Now, and I want to make mention of what Eric said at the end of this last season, where he said, because Eric was a traitor, okay? Rob was betraying all the traitors. Oh, sorry, spoiler alert. Don't watch this if you haven't watched it. At this point, it's your fault, because why would you click this? Okay. But even Eric said at the end, there's just a line in the sand and our lines are different. I'm paraphrasing. And that he basically couldn't live with himself, and I think I'm being more dramatic with live with himself, but he couldn't look at himself if he was able to do that. And that's correct. How can you smile in someone's face the way he did and just did what he did? And high key, I felt bad for Moira for a good second, but then I was like, no, sis, that's what you get. That's what you get. Because all your good sis was trying to put you on. Look me in my eye, girl. But she was gung-ho for this southern man who wrangles snakes and is not wearing shirts. And sis was like, we're going to go down in the sunset together and we're going to roll on the bed of monies. And it was like egg all over sis's face. And so I would like to compare that to Dante Wilder. I think Dante was in Phaedra Park's episode. Dante felt so upset that he voted an innocent person out. And that is because that role, what he was doing was directly going against his moral being, his character. It was not in alignment. So what we have is a moral disengagement. Now, I want to talk about moral disengagement. This is a concept backed by Albert Bandura, and I'm going to take a little peek on it. So the concept of moral disengagement, people can switch off their moral compass in certain contexts, allowing them to behave in ways they normally wouldn't without feeling guilty. Now, here's Drew's context. I don't think it's that they would behave in cases that they normally wouldn't, but more so those suppressed aspects of self that they keep chained up because society says this isn't good for you to do or exhibit or be. It now has free range to be outside. And if it's in alignment with yourself, then why wouldn't you be able to do it? We saw in real time people who were tethered to their morality say, I cannot extend past, this is bothering me. I'm having an emotional reaction to this. And so I think this is a good view of these different players, Rob and Deontay and Eric. And I also want to talk about Brittany in relation to Danielle. Now, Brittany, she already exhibited. Now, first of all, Danielle, I think first of all, commentary, Danielle, you did too daggone much with all that whooping and hollering and shaking, baby. There ain't nothing that serious about Traitors for you to be sitting there convulsing in the corner. Ain't nothing that serious, but I digress. Now, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, bitch, it's your fault. You shouldn't have believed her. Danielle was double-crossed twice by Brittany. And at that point, Danielle should have known that you have now shown me who you are. Your ability to double cross me for the sake of yourself. Danielle got double crossed by Brittany. And so the reason why I'm bringing this up, it lends itself to the moral disengagement, the ability to continue to exhibit behaviors that may be innately or intrinsically a part of you that is just fragmented or disowned. Let's talk about situational influence and behavior. Now, this concept is coined by Philip Zimbardo, and it's essentially exploring the idea that environments heavily shape how people act. And I couldn't agree more, but the cool thing about this is that there was an experiment, and I'm gonna go ahead and read about that. Philip Zimbardo was famous for his Stanford prison experiment, where it demonstrated how ordinary people can perform extreme action when placed into structured roles. The Stanford prison experiment results showed how quickly ordinary people adapted to assigned roles, with guards becoming sadistic and prisoners becoming submissive or rebellious, leading to severe psychological distress and an early shutdown after 6 days. It highlighted the power of the situational factors and authority over individual free will, demonstrating that good people can do bad things in abusive environments. I think that concept really, really points out what's at play here. So even if, because I'm not really stating that the traitors are bad people, I'm stating that this is more than a game. It's a reflection of psychology. It's a reflection of social norms. That's what we're really looking at here. It's not just like, oh, they didn't did it. It's like, what's really going on in the human psyche, and how can they be easily adaptable and persuaded and manipulated? That's what I'm kind of poking at. And with this, I think it's really good. So it's like an argument of like, okay, because we're put in this position, okay, I'm embodying this traitor, I therefore will begin to act like what I think a traitor is. But all of the traitors or all the betrayals that I have made mention thus far, those people have shown that their gameplay, like that's how they play the game. Even outside of the roles of traitors, like Brittany and Survivor, like Phaedra, like, now I don't know much about Rob and Love Island. I don't keep up. But I'm just saying, like, these people have already exhibited these types of behavior, and it's just continuing into this new environment. So yes, situational behavior or situational influence is definitely a thing. It's going to impact your gameplay, how you are interacting with people. But I think I'm including this just as another lens to look through. For our last and final section, we're going to be talking about the amplification of social biases and scapegoating. Now, one of the theories that I want to bring in, hold on, let me put my glasses on. If I mispronounce this person's name, I do apologize. Marzane Banji. Marzane Banji is a social psychologist who coined the term implicit bias. And implicit bias basically refers to the unconscious attitudes and stereotypes that influences our perceptions, judgments, and actions without us even realizing it. And the reason why I want to bring this up is because I've noticed a pattern, okay? And let me just preface this. I am not saying that Traitors is inherently racist or prejudiced. That's not what I'm saying. But if we're going to take a social psychological view at the show, then we cannot turn a blind eye on the fact that based in our Western society, what we view our lens through society is going to play in the game. Just because we enter into a game and think that, oh, it's just a game, we get to leave all aspects of ourselves on the wayside. That's not happening. We're going to bring ourselves into the game, as I've been showing you through the other things I've shared. So why would how we view who is strong, who is believed, who is weaker, why wouldn't we think what society deems as those other attributes apply to the game? And an example is in season 3 with Bob the drag queen. It was one of the challenges, and Bob, it was when they were all on the water, and Bob was like, come on, you guys, one of the guys sit on the raft. The women, they were just putting the women on the raft because the women were viewed as weaker. The women was viewed as, okay, they don't have the stamina to continue to move forward, really setting us back a couple decades, okay, a couple of years. And Bob the drag queen was like, that is not fair, that's not right. Another point in time, I kind of see that unspoken understanding that women are either the weaker, more, I don't want to say combative, but more cattier, maybe not logistic sex, is in the turret with Boston Rob and Robin this last season, when they double cross the women and they're like, okay, now I can get someone else in here. Now don't hold me. I don't know if Boston Rob brought someone in. I thought it was Boston Rob poverty. No, I don't know. Lord, I'm mixing them up. Let me just stick with what I know. Okay, I gotta barely know that. Let's stick with this last season. Okay. For example, Rob, when he double-crossed Lisa and Candace, he said that when he was picking Eric, that he wanted to make sure it was someone who had good gameplay, who was logical, who was going to be a strong add into it. Not once did he consider a woman. Not once did he see that women were going to be a strong addition to his gameplay. On the contrary, he actually used Moira as a pawn, his biggest pawn to his game. So it just I guess further pushes the point that just because we're entering the game doesn't mean like how we view people in society or these in groups or out groups in society differ just because we're now playing a game. These things are intrinsically and innately interwoven into our psyche, our day to day. And something that I want to mention was Natalie of this season, and Tara. Now, I don't know if I don't want to say it's prejudice. Okay, I just want to make a point. And the point is, I wondered while I was watching Tara look Natalie in her eyes, okay, and say, I got you, girl. When we get to the round table, we're going to be voting on Eric. We're going to do that together. And what happened? Natalie was turned against and she was voted out. And here goes Tara with the mother effing waterworks. I'm like, girl, save it for someone else who cares, because I don't. And I just couldn't help but I'm like, why was Natalie not believed fully? And why is Rob fully believed? Is it because he's attractive? Is it because he's a white man? I really had a hard time with understanding like who gets believed, who's really leaned in. But then a counter argument for my point is I think about Phaedra, and no one thought Phaedra did it. No one was suspicious of Phaedra. So with that one's really my commentary. That's what I think. I'm really interested to see what you guys think. Like, use this video and tell me, like, do you see things that can kind of point to like the psychosocial aspect coming out? Or do you think this is all hoopla and I'm blowing smoke in your butt? I'm blowing smoke in your butt. None of this is real and it's just a game. I'm down for both of them. I'm down for a good conversation. Okay, you all, thank you so much for chilling with me and watching this video. I could have gone further, but I really just don't have the time. I mean, research. I got other things to do, boo. But it was really fun to kind of dip my toes back into this bag with like exploring these intersection of like pop culture and psychology and how they fit and what is it telling us about the bigger picture of Western society. It was a lot of fun, and it'd be pissing me off when people are like, it's just a game. No, babe, it's not just a game. And quiet as it's kept, if you could look me in my eyes and play a game like that, like Rob did, baby, I couldn't trust you as far as I could throw you. You a big bitch. I can't throw you at all. I don't trust you at all. And so it's really funny, like people always dismiss it's just a game. No, babe, it's showing you your deep shadow self and what you're capable of and what you keep caged up. So all right, bye.